Now, if you would have told me 5 years ago when this man Mikey Williams was on top of the world, he had all the clout, he had all the notoriety, he was considered one of the best high school players in his generation, the skill level that this kid had when he was 14, 15 years old, the crazy dunks that he was doing back in the day, packing out arenas, packing out gyms, having celebrities pulling up to his games, even hearing what scouts were saying about Mikey Williams, how he was a prolific scorer, he was a prolific shooter, the energy that he displayed out there when he was on the floor, the passion, right? If you would have told me 5 years ago that this man Mikey Williams was not going to get drafted in the 2024 NBA draft when he was eligible, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I probably would have told you that you were crazy. I probably would have said that you're hating in some sort of way. I would definitely asking you what you're smoking on, telling you to get drug tested, right? I would have just thought you was crazy. But guys, 5 years later, we're in the year 2024 and the 2024 NBA draft is ended. And it's crazy to think that this man Mikey Williams was supposed to be hearing his name getting called from Adam Silver, hearing his name called getting drafted to an NBA team. Now, when I'm looking back on this man Mikey Williams' career and I'm just thinking just how his whole career went so far up until this point, I don't know. I genuinely feel like this man Mikey Williams definitely did a lot of things right, but he definitely did a lot of things wrong. Now, I feel like one thing people just don't understand about Mikey Williams as a person and as a player and just his overall career, we honestly have never ever seen somebody in this era had to go through everything that this man Mikey Williams has had to go through. I know people would say Zion Williamson and, you know, guys like LaMelo Ball and things of that nature, but I don't know. I kind of feel like Mikey Williams, his path is just a little bit different. In most cases, I actually think that he handled the pressure, especially off the court, pretty solid. In my opinion, I definitely think on the court, he could have handled it a little bit better as far as the route he was taking, as far as, you know, what schools he was going to, the transferings, you know, how many games he was playing, stuff like that, right? I think he could have handled that a little bit better. But Mikey Williams just missed his entire freshman season. Mikey Williams graduated in 2023. I don't know how or why, but it feels like that was just so long ago. And now we just saw Robert Dillingham get drafted. We just saw Jared McCain get drafted, Bronny, right? Mikey Williams was supposed to be in this draft class, but he missed his entire freshman season, and now he's forced to start his basketball career a little bit later. And earlier this year in January, Mikey Williams announced that he's going to be committing to the University of Central Florida. And I think this is definitely one of the best choices that Mikey Williams has made so far in his career. Originally, he was going to go to Memphis, but I personally kind of like him going to UCF a little bit better. I think this is definitely going to allow him to showcase that he is talented enough to play in one of the best conferences in college basketball, being the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 has so many talented schools like the University of Houston, Kansas State, Kansas, Baylor, right? I can go on and on and on. This conference is definitely one of the best in the entire nation. And the fact that Mikey Williams is going to be betting on himself, he hasn't played a single collegiate game. You guys know, bro, there's a huge difference between high school basketball and college. And the fact that he's going into this conference, he's betting on himself. I know he's going to make it a point and make it adamant that he wants to showcase, like, guys, I'm still the player that I was 4 years ago. I'm still one of the best players in the world. I still deserve to get drafted. I know I'm getting overlooked right now, but once I step on the court, you guys are going to see that all this work that I've been putting in, all these practice highlights that you guys have been seeing, you know, with Ryan Rizuki. Shout out my boy Ryan Rizuki, man. Definitely one of the best trainers out there. But I know you guys see all the highlights. I know you see the work that he's been putting in, you know, behind the scenes. And I know Mikey Williams really wants to showcase that he has what it takes to be an NBA, you know, draft pick. But like I said, Mikey Williams' career, I will have to admit, it's definitely in a weird type of situation right now. I don't know why. I kind of feel like, although, yes, he's still young. I think he's only like 20 years old right now. But I don't know why, but I kind of feel like this might be one of Mikey Williams' last chances in order to make it into the NBA. If you just look at the comments, if you just look at the lack of scouts even giving Mikey Williams his attention, the fact that they're not putting him in no type of mock drafts or anything like that, people, you can already tell that people are already giving up on this man Mikey Williams. And, you know, even right now, the proof is in the pudding. The fact that he hasn't played a single game, he doesn't even know. Well, he kind of knows as far as like from an intellectual standpoint of, you know, how the college game is going to be like, but he's never actually played in a college game. So the fact that scouts or analysts has not seen anything like that from this man, Mikey Williams, and Mikey Williams himself hasn't even adjusted to the type of play style, the speed, the physicality, things of that nature, you know, it's definitely going to be very interesting. And the fact that he's not on no type of mock drafts, he might not even be the best player on his own team. He's not the best player in his own conference, right? The pressure Guys, I'm telling you, the pressure is really on this man, Mikey Williams, and I feel like he kind of understands that. I feel like he understands that the back is definitely against the wall. People are saying that his hype already went down. People said that, the story was great, but, things happen. And I just feel like Mikey Williams understands the point that he's in, and I really hope somebody's really sat down and talked to him like, bro, you're in a situation where people are really starting to give up on you, right? I know we see the highlights. I know we see the crazy dunks, the step backs, all that. All that is cool. But he's at a point where none of this stuff matters, right? None of the social media off the court stuff matters no more. The social media following, having over 5 million, social media followers, the sponsorships, the shoe deals, the clout, none of that, being a rapper, hanging out with all these, none of that matters at this point. I'm telling you guys right now, all that will go away if Mikey Williams does not take care of business on the court, and he has to lead. He has to lead with his talent on the floor, and him going to the NBA, him focusing on his craft, him focusing on basketball first and foremost, for blocking out everything. That is what's going to take him to the promised land. That's what's going to allow him to get that sponsorships, the shoe deals that he used to get back in the day. Mike Williams is cool off the court, right? He's cool on the court. He has a fun play style that, has great energy. People love to watch him. He has a ton of fans, right? But the fact that he's in this position, I'm telling you, it would all go away if he does not take care of business on the floor. And I really hopes that he understands that. And he has a great freshman season at USF. Like I said, it is sad that his name did not get called in the 2024 NBA draft. But guys, apart from basketball, just life in general. Life happens sometimes, and there's certain things that you can control. There's certain things that you can't control. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. If one door didn't open for you today, there could be another door that opens for you the next day. The main thing that you can focus on is controlling what you can control, how you go about certain things, what you're focusing on, what your priorities are, and just giving your best that you possibly can. If you gave your best, then that's really, all that matters. And right now, it's really time for Mikey to focus on what matters. And like I said, taking care of business. He's looking good on practice. He's looking good in all these dunks and whatnot. But the spotlight is definitely going to be on Mikey Williams this season. And I feel like everybody's going to be interested to just see how he's going to adapt to the college season. If you take a look at the 2023 high school class, the 2024 NBA draft, I may make a more in-depth video about this, but if you look at the class in general, I believe there was only about 10 or 11 players in the top 100 that actually got drafted in this recent 2024 NBA draft, right? I think the names are like Isaiah Kohler. I'll make a more in-depth video about this later, but there's not many of these freshmen that actually got drafted this year. So many people thought that DJ Wagner was going to be the guy. Aaron Bradshaw, if you would have told me he was not going to get drafted, I remember he was considered to be a #1 pick at a point. Guys like Kwame Evans. Like, there's so many guys in this draft that people thought were really going to be, getting drafted, and they're not, because, like I said, the college game is just so much different, right? Everybody at that level is stronger. They're faster. They're playing for something. They all want to make it to the league. So there's just more on the line. So Mikey Williams has to adapt, and it's going to be very interesting to see. My predictions and some stats that I think that he definitely should try to aim for if he wants to look like a legit NBA player. I think a good freshman season for Mikey would be averaging somewhere between 16 to 18 points a game. Definitely shooting well and being very efficient. I think that's going to be very huge on him, from all aspects. 48% from the field, somewhere around there, 38% from three. Averaging 5 to 7 assists, showcasing that he can be a legit point guard. Mike Williams is not 6'5", he's not 6'6". He's definitely in that 6'1", 6'2" range. So I think he has to showcase that he can be a legit point guard. He's not getting that many turnovers. He's efficient. He can play defense. He's going to be impacting, winning. I think last year UCF went 17-16. So if he can come into the program, bring a different type of perspective, showcase that he can be a winning player. He's a team player. And he definitely does what he can do individually. I definitely think Mikey Williams can get the job done. Guys, in the comment section down below, let's pray that Mikey Williams can definitely turn things around. I really want this man, Mikey Williams, to succeed, bro. I want to see this man, Mikey Williams, in the NBA. I want to see him playing, Bronny and Rob and all these guys, man. I really think he's up there. I really do think so. But if Mikey Williams does not take care of business, telling you guys right now, Mikey Williams will go down as one of the biggest disappointments in basketball history.